Hi, welcome. I'm Dr. Chris Willard, and I'm actually a lot of things. I'm a clinical psychologist. I work a lot with kids and families, parents. I'm an author. I've written books about parenting, about mindfulness. I've written books actually for little kids. I also teach at Harvard Medical School, and I'm also a dad myself. Got two youngish kids at home. And I've had this interest in mindfulness for a long time, almost 20 years, if not more. And I know I look like I'm about 20 years old, but mindfulness actually really, it keeps you young. It also keeps you really present in the moment. And nowhere in these last 20 years has mindfulness become more important to me than since I became a parent about 6 years ago. Actually, even before that, the process of becoming a parent, which is, I think, really its own thing, those 9 months or that time leading up to it. And mindfulness has been so valuable to me in that time. So I just want to talk a little bit about mindful parenting and what that is. And so I do workshops all over the place, and I write about this, and I get asked all the time, well, what's the best way to create more mindful kids? And the fact is, I definitely know the opposite. I know how to create stressed out, miserable kids. It's really easy. You surround them with stressed out, miserable adults, right? But that actually means that the opposite is true, right? If you want more mindful kids, right, you practice mindfulness yourself. There's that meme online that says something like, never in the history of calming down has anyone ever calmed down by being told to calm down. And I think about that a lot in my parenting. I think about that a lot about mindfulness. And about, really, if I want my kids to calm down, and mindfulness is more than calming down, I just want you to know that, right? That really it starts with learning how to calm myself, regulate myself, be the calm in the midst of a storm, whether that's a tantrum or a setback, right? If your kid's 1 year old, or if they're 15, or if they're even older than that, right? It keeps starting with us, right? And so that's because actually our emotions really are contagious. Our anxiety, our anger, right? Whatever it is. And we also know that our kids imitate us, our best and our worst behavior. But we also know that optimism, mindfulness, calm, compassion, these are also really contagious too. Right? Kids learn from watching us. Kids learn from practicing those kinds of things with us. Right? So it's up to us to really set that tone for helping our kids grow and thrive in the way that we want them to. And we also just feel a little bit better when we're parenting from the present, or what I sometimes call prefrontal parenting with our prefrontal cortex. We're parenting not in reaction to our own childhoods, either imitating exactly, replicating what our parents did for better or for worse, nor are we just acting reactively, doing the opposite of what our own parents and caregivers did for better or for worse, right? We're weighing all of that. We're responding, not reacting to the moment. And what we're doing is, in some ways, this actually becomes easier. We're not parenting so much as we're just being parents. We're not striving quite so much. We're turning parent from a verb back into a noun again, which to me is kind of really, really where it belongs, right? So in the end, we start being a bit more present, responding from our own wisdom, based on what's going on with our kids, based on what's happening in the moment, right? Not based on the past, not based on our worries about the future. And I think we really become much better parents in that process, really facilitating our children's growth and development. And as we practice mindfulness ourselves, what we see is this really does start to trickle out. It's really contagious. Parents who practice mindfulness, their kids are happier. Their kids get into less trouble. Their kids don't get injured as much, right? Things like that. Communication in the family goes up. If you practice mindfulness, actually your partner, your co-parent, they're more likely to report higher levels of satisfaction in the marriage, in the relationship, lower levels of conflict, just by practicing a little bit ourselves, right? Learning how to be in the moment, right? When things start to get a little bit crazy, coming back to our breath, back to our bodies, listening to our body's wisdom, right? And then doing these things with our own kids, taking some time before bed to breathe, to notice the sounds around us, right? To appreciate the beauty in the world. These kinds of things are making things a bit more playful, right? Together. You could say go do some mindful walking. Well, that sounds boring. Or you could do, let's walk as quietly as we can, like ninjas in the woods, right? We can start to have fun with this. So there's all kinds of ways that, again, we as parents can practice ourselves, be more responsive and less reactive, and also ways that we can then start to share this stuff with our kids so that they actually grow up to be more resilient, right? We see so many kids these days who are really struggling, right? They're wilting in the face of challenges, right? What mindfulness does actually rewires our brains, helps us manage setbacks differently, helps our kids grow up to manage their own setbacks differently, to do those themselves. So we're not just rushing into the rescue. And again, what else mindfulness helps us do is to discern when is that moment to rescue and when's the moment to really let them learn themselves. And so all of this starts to add up to what I think of as mindful parenting, which is really just skillfully being a parent with intention, knowing what we're doing and why as we're doing it, rather than just out of more reactivity. So I hope that you enjoy the other meditations, the other blogs that we're finding. And what I think I also recommend is just, looking into other ways of making mindfulness fun, making parenting fun, exploring a little bit more what Muse has to offer. And I look forward to parenting with you, or perhaps being a parent with you in this journey. Thanks so much.